Good afternoon, hamjambo, ladies and gentlemen. This is MKU Radio. I'm your host, Brian Bet. Thank you for tuning in. Tunashukuru sana from every part of the country. We are live from Nakuru, Mount Kenya University. Today, I have some guests and we'll be talking matters youth and politics. So we are all aware of whatever is going on in the country right now. Voter registration that started a few days ago. And there's a huge debate, there's a big debate around it, that the youth hawajitokezi as expected kwenda kusajiliwa kama wapiga kura, and which really contradicts whatever we've been fighting for in the last few years, that the youth tunataka nafasi za uongozi, the elective positions in the country, and it only makes sense tukiwa wapiga kura. So everyone expected a huge turnout of the youth, but so far it is very low at the moment. So tunazidi kuwaambia, tunawasihi sana vijana wetu, go register as voters. There is still time, so we want to change the course of the Kenyan leadership and politics as a whole. So today I have some great guests, and I'll let them introduce themselves from my farthest end.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm by name Ayak Santini, and welcome to MKU TV.
Good afternoon. My name is Anke Chap, a journalist, a social media influencer, and a content creator. Thank you.
And my name is Napash Damnat. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so those are the guests that I have. So I have representation of, in fact, Narok is well represented in the studio today.
Yeah.
So we have two guests who are from Narok County, and we have one friend of ours. I think we'll say she's a friend of Kenya, but she's been here for a while. She's from South Sudan, but yeah, she can also be an observer of the Kenyan politics and the Kenyan political scene, since Kenya is the big East African brother that the other countries look up to. So to dive into the topic, it's a very wide topic, but we'll start by asking some few questions. Definitely, when we talk about politics and youth in Kenya, I'll ask my guests, what comes into your mind when you talk about politics and youth? I'll start with Dapash.
When you talk about politics and youth in Kenya, we start thinking about how the Gen Zs are just how the Gen Z wanaendelea Kenya, their politics, just because nowadays the Gen Z are the youth for this generation. And now when you say that, when I say youth and politics, that comes into the minds that Gen Z and the demonstrations and position of seats.
Okay, so I guess it's fair to say that for the first time we have a generation of youth who are very aggressive in the political scene, unlike the generations that we had before us, kina baba zetu, babu zetu. So yeah, from the boomers, from the millennials, from the now Generation Z, then we have the Alpha.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot going on in the country lately, and especially since it cuts across, it's not only in the political scene. You have also seen a lot of unrest in the schools in Kenya, where we have had a lot of schools going on strike lately, destroying the school property and all that. And I think it is because of the same disconnect.
Yeah.
Do you see the link between the striking in schools and whatever is going on in the streets of the country because of politics? Is there a link between the two, from what you think?
For me, let me start with this that you have said. What comes in my mind when you mention something concerning the youths and the Gen Zs, the youths and the politics, right?
Yeah.
So the youths are these people that are 35 years and below. So
Yeah.
I can say it is about 75% of Kenyans are the youth. 75% of these third world countries are youths. So without them, there is no politics. So youths are the politics, and the politics are youth.
Yeah, that's a very good assessment.
Yeah.
And talking of the population of the youth in our African countries, for example, Kenya, compared to maybe the countries in Europe, in America at large. I think there are a lot of youth in Africa compared to other countries. And I think we have an advantage having people who are very strong, who are very aggressive. And I think this is the time where we can see a lot of positive change in African countries, and more so Kenya. So my next guest, I'm curious to know, in South Sudan, do we have the same thing where you see the youth are now aggressive compared to the previous years, where they used to be bystanders when it comes to matters, leadership and politics? You've definitely seen whatever has been going on in Kenya lately, where there has been a lot of unrest in I think since 2023, or was it 2022? Yeah, where we've seen a lot of things happening, and which actually aims at getting a better country for us, where we want the youth represented, since we have almost every docket of government occupied by the elderly people, and they are no longer really. It's a fair assessment to say that I think the youth really need to be in those positions since they are starting off their life. Tunaweza sema vijana bado wanajaribu kukua financially, in terms of they have a lot that they have not explored ahead. So I don't think it's a good thing for the elderly people to be stuck in offices, and every opportunity for the youth to get a better life. So Santino, maybe do we see the same thing in South Sudan that is happening in Kenya?
We have the same system.
Okay, and how has there been maybe for the first time maybe unity for purpose among the youth, with an aim of actually changing the type of leadership that we've always had in Africa, and especially in the third world countries? Has there been a lot of aggression among the youth compared to the youth in Kenya?
Yes, of course.
Okay, and maybe have there been demonstrations lately, or because of the insecurity going on at the moment, many things are paralyzed? What is your assessment on whatever is going on there? In terms of are the youth going to the street, maybe demanding jobs, they are demanding better treatment, they are demanding allocation for different things because when you talk about youth, for example, you can talk about youth in sports, youth in different professions. So for example, there's this one thing I would like to talk about, and I've seen there's been a big problem, especially at the grassroots level in the villages, where we have the old people who are they are not really they don't really have access to the nitty-gritties of whatever is going on in the different Kenyan ministries under the government. For example, you normally see tunaona where we have politicians, for example, senators, and I think this is one thing that few of them started, but it has been copied all over, where we have them organizing tournaments, for example, in football and different sports. And there are some people who still think, or rather believe, that the money actually comes from their pockets. Many people still don't know that the money is actually allocated by government in the different dockets under different ministries. And since devolution came into Kenya, some responsibilities have been devolved from the Kenyan government, national government, to the county government. But the reception has not been really to the best. But I think that's where a big problem is for now. So let me ask Dapash, do you think that the youth that we have at the moment are very aware of whatever is going on in the different Kenyan ministries?
Now the youth we say that we are.
Are they well informed? Do they know whatever is going on?
Yes, maybe they know, because nowadays we use digital platforms, so the youth are aware that maybe the government can discriminate them in a way that the government think that youth are not aware of anything. But in current situation, I think youth are they are clever enough. Even today nowadays, they are planning to build an hospital for themselves called a Gen Z hospital. This means that youth are aware of everything what's going in Kenya. So
Okay.
wanarika wote wanajua kila kitu inaendelea Kenya. Kwa sababu tunatumia digital. Nothing happens without media. Yes. So they are being aware, they are being informed through media. So they understand everything.
You know, Mr. Brian.
Yeah.
We have what can I say? These mobilizers. We have activists. Like for example, we had what is his name? He was once being charged of mobilizing things.
Boniface Mwangi.
Yeah, Boniface Mwangi.
Yeah.
So I can tell through them, through our activists, we get to know things that are happening in Kenya. We get to know things that are going on. You see? So I can tell we are very active. People are learned. People are very following the government. We are watching.
Okay, yeah. So now that we are all in agreement that the Kenyan youth or the youth that we have at the moment are very informed, do you think that we are a step ahead in maybe getting to curb corruption that has been going on since? I think the corruption that has been happening since the country gained independence from the previous presidents, we have seen a lot of huge scandals going on, and it is mostly because the people, the citizens, didn't have information on they were really in the dark about whatever was going on, the money that had been allocated for different ministries, different dockets. So is it a good thing now that the youth are informed, they know whatever is going on? So do you think we are a step ahead in curbing corruption? Since, the moment you know that this is the amount that has been allocated for something, and later, whether it is completed or not, it is very easy to follow up on, to hold our leaders accountable that this is the money that you actually given to complete this project. Why didn't you do it? Why? Where is the rest of the money? And I think that's I leave it to you to answer. Do you think we are in a good place compared to the previous years?
So compared to the previous years, I can tell the youth are in a better way, like they are moving forward. I can say they are very, very intelligent and they are very active. They are acting as watchdog, and for that reason, I can tell some of the youths are used as representative rather than being leaders, and that's why they are trying to suppress us. They are trying to fix us, like they are trying to close our mind that we cannot speak like we cannot speak our mind. We cannot stand on our own and see and kashivu, like you are doing the wrong thing, mko na pesa lakini hamzitumii. There are a lot of money that are being generated, money for education, money for job, like for hospitals, money for infrastructure, building infrastructures, roads. But when you see most of the leaders are trying to be corrupt, like they are very greedy. Wanachukua hizi pesa wanajikipia, but wanatu suppress, like hawataki government youths wasungumze. But for now we are in a better position. I can tell we have our activists, we are very intelligent. Yeah,
I agree with that. So Dapash, maybe you have something to add?
I think that the youth are now yani hiyo sasa ufisadi wa kama haitafanyika Kenya sana. Itafanyika lakini youth wanaijua. Kwa sababu nowadays this generation know everything about the government, but the government know nothing about the generation. So unasapata si tunajua kila kitu kama Gen Z kuhusu government. Na government, they know nothing about what is going on inside the groups, maybe the online groups and social media groups of this generation. Yeah. So unapata wa emergency, anything kitu chochote ambayo itafanyika, unapata wana solve haraka, wanajua haraka mapema. Wanaanza kunini the governments, wanaanza kustumu the government, wanaanza kuambia mnafanya hii na hii na hii. So I think this generation will possibly try to end corruption although
it's just the beginning, though. I think
yes,
it's the beginning.
Yes, they can at least reduce.
Yeah,
If
since
they cannot, yes.
yeah, I think because corruption is really deep rooted.
Yes.
It is something that started with the first. I think immediately after the country gained independence. So that's where it began. So it's very tough. It will take a while for you to be completely erased or to a good percentage. Okay, to my other guest, Santino, have the South Sudanese youth in any way maybe tried to maybe emulate whatever the Kenyan youth are doing, coming together, trying to, they're not just sitting like sitting ducks and watching everything going wrong in the government when they can do something about it. Is there something that maybe as the South Sudanese youth have maybe kick-started, or you can say things that they have learned from the Kenyan youth?
For me, I don't know the Kenyan system, but according to South Sudan, youth are behaving well.
Okay. And do you think the government is fairly doing well in South Sudan?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So now, we are going to touch on a very sensitive topic. We know the qualifications for one to qualify as an aspirant to be elected in Kenya, from the lowest level of representation, the MCA, to the senator, to the governor, the MP, to the president, and even in the appointments of the cabinet secretaries. There is an issue lately that, is it barely, maybe slightly, maybe let's say probably a month ago, where we saw the Kericho County MCAs try to impeach the governor for the second time, and again survived the impeachment in the Senate. So there was something that really came up that became a topic for discussion. We really saw some members of county assembly struggling to articulate their issues in front of the Senate, and that begs the question: should maybe the IEBC review the qualifications for maybe want to be elected as an MCA? Because we obviously know that from the president, one of the qualifications among the many being looking at the ethics, bankruptcy, and all that, a lot of things. The main point actually comes to education, because obviously for anyone to qualify to vie for presidency, they have to have at least a degree in a recognizable or rather qualified university in the country or outside. The same thing with the governor, senator, MP. When it comes to the MCA, I think the qualification is as long as one has the basic education, is able to write, to read, is barely literate.
Yes,
But we saw whatever happened, and even one MCA representing a ward in Bureti constituency was asking to be allowed to communicate in his vernacular language, which is something that I think it is a setback when you look at leadership, because if you cannot communicate on your own behalf, what are you really doing for your people? Yeah, so should something be done about it?
Yeah, I can tell for the MCAs, he must be a registered voter, hold at least a form 4 certificates, and meet the chapter 6 on integrity. Yeah, and yeah, for the MPs, member of the parliament must be a registered voter, and also he must be of sound mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can add something about the MCS. So sometimes these MCS can our MCS
I think we have a technical which we'll try to work on it. Meanwhile, you can use my mic.
So I can say that the MCS can be upgraded from what their qualification. The qualifications of the MCS are there. Someone can even vie even without even going to any class or anything else, but now the MCS are doing something worst, because they present themselves in the parliament, but they do not know how to present themselves the way they talk. So I think the government should at least given a certificate in a
It is
recognition.
the IBC actually
IBC,
that
yes.
governs.
I think the IBC should raise at least the qualification,
Okay.
even to be maybe a certificate in a recognized college or a recognized institution somewhere.
Yeah.
So at least a certificate.
Okay, but talking about it, it's interesting because I think someone who has really maybe studied to, I think that incident actually raised a lot of questions, because I don't even think the specific MCA we are talking about really met the qualification of even having completed high school studies, secondary. Because if one has already completed, the moment you are already done with the high school, I don't think communicating will really be that tough, because you definitely learn in English.
Yeah.
How would you then not be able to talk in English if you really studied to that level? So I think it is just a matter of maybe the system, the IEBC system being very strict on that, because there are a number of issues that we've seen even with some of the MPs that they don't even represent their people in parliament. They don't really hawachangi chochote in parliament.
Because
They're just silent.
they are okay, hawajamit your qualifications. Sijui kuna tu vitu walifanya wakajipata huko.
Yeah.
So me I think the IEBC board should come up with the hizi rules zote, like meet hizo vitu zote. Kama ulikuwa unafaa kumaliza form 4 ukuwe na hiyo certificate, at least you should meet the leadership role. Like unafaa ukuwe that integrate, you see? Yeah, you should be ready to serve your people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that we are talking about the MCAs and the county governments, we've seen. Okay,
Yes.
I think we'll go for a commercial break tupate funda la maji kidogo, then we'll be back. Okay. So far so good, Sanjay. So far so good. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm back with my guests back in studio. I think tuliachia mahali katikati. We were discussing about, we were generally talking about the county governments and the representation at both levels, the national government and the county government. So I think we work out short kidogo when we were talking about just touching slightly on it because of time. Talking about the county governments, we've seen a number of county governments struggling, where there is a lot of conflict between the MCAs and the governor, and we've seen some of the some governors actually impeached after a number of attempts of impeachment. For example, we can talk about former Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza. We've seen a case where recently the governor for Kericho has survived another attempt of impeachment. So the question is, why is there really a fight between the MCAs and the governor? And the CECs, of course, are they're there at the center of the fight. Why do you think there is always conflict between MCAs and county governors? The Pasha, will start with you.
I think the conflict between the governors and the MCAs is that maybe the governor and the MCA are not hawapatani vile. Maybe maendeleo kwa wadi fulani haifanyiki. Maybe governor anaonea MCA fulani. Alafu napata maybe the governors may sometimes are corrupt. Wanamaliza tu hiyo kazi yani wananyanyasa MCAs wengine. And that is what I can say, that is the main reason which bring conflict between them and
so what you think actually is it comes down to is it really a personal issue? Because there are a number of MCAs in any county. So would you really say it's personal?
You know, those governors which mostly have conflict with the MCAs are corrupt. Most of them are corrupt. So they want those development money to go into their banks, their pockets.
Okay.
So they must have that conflict between them and the MCAs.
Okay, what do you think?
I think I can add on the corruption and bribery. Apart from that, I can say they are greedy. Between the MCS and the governor, who is the head? Like who? Ni nani mkubwa wao? Ni governor.
Actually, okay, it's interesting in a way that the governor is in charge of the county, but the people who actually should oversight the duties of the governor are the MCS. So they are the people who to keep the governor in check.
But you see, the difference comes in when the money for the development inapitia the governor. Unaona? So kitambo ifikie MCS imekuwa less. Sasa for example, the pesa zimetoka ya county inafaa 6.7 million inafaa kuingia kwa government, zingine zijenge hospitali, zingine zijenge shule, zingine zijenge barabara, zingine zishughulikie electricity. But zinakuja kama ni 1 million. Sasa hiyo haitasaidia kwa sababu bribery hiyo yote, like hiyo wizi wa pesa, mtu anajibia, anaona kama yeye ndo mkubwa, so anajichotea, unaona? Hiyo si poa. So I can say ni hiyo difference hiyo, like hakuna ukweli, hakuna
So I guess maybe before we wrap up, tutamaliza, the conversation is very lengthy. So maybe just to touch on generally the third world countries. Let's now focus on outside Kenya, but also it affects Kenya definitely. Santino, I think you can say something on this. Why is it that we still the African countries, or rather the third world countries, are still struggling economically, and what do you think is the remedy for that?
Okay, that is good question. The difference between the leaders and representatives, both are connects, including organization and communities, while they share some similar differences between two. One of the differences is act on the behalf of others, often in the common.
Okay. So you're mentioning something actually that as we wrap up, I just want to say that she's mentioned that there is a difference between actually a representative and a leader. And from my perspective, this is what I believe. We elect different people in different levels of government. and we expect them to work for us because we are the ones who put them there. But you find others who are just there for the sake of their being a leader. They don't actually do anything. So it's like it's only for the sake of their being a representative of a place. But actually, a genuine leader is one who will who genuinely wants the better for the people and will always fight for the interest of the people. So I think we'll wrap up there because of time. Tutaachia hapo. Thank you for tuning in, for listening to us wherever you are, at your workplaces, mkifanya shughuli zenu tofauti. And that's it for today. We meet again another time, same place. Shukran sana. I've been your host, Brian Bet. Thank you, our guests.
Cover your mouth.
Yeah, okay, it's very lengthy though, but at least we've engaged everyone. Yeah.